My dog Jason of Ridgeline Farms, bro. I appreciate your time and thank you for joining us here at ZNN. We don't want to take up too much of your time, bro, but you are one of the winners from the Winners Flight event here with Zalympix in November, and you're also one of the very few that have actual Humboldt beginnings, So I just wanted you to tell us a little briefly about that, being from up north and, what's it like growing up there, being up there for decades.
Man, it's first of all, I appreciate it. Thanks for the intro, and I respect everything you do. So it's an honor to be able to talk to you. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just I always say a kid from the hill, even though now I'm kind of an older guy from the hill, but been up here my whole life. Watched it from, go basically from the beginning of the war on drugs to where we're at now. And growing up in these hills was it was great. There was highs and lows, but I mean most of it was just a lot growing weed. And started at a really young age, when I was about probably 6 or 7. I mean certain things, it's like it's hard to remember things as you get older, but certain things like when you're a child from your childhood lock in your brain, and like sitting on the porch, me and my sister, eating some popcorn, and all of a sudden a Black Hawk helicopter's sitting right above our head. And we're going, what the hell is that? And here comes my hippie dad on the four-wheeler going as fast as he can go with his hair flying back, pulls in, get in the truck, jump in his little Nissan extra cab, and he just, pins it out of there. And, they land in our field and they go and they, cut my dad's crop. And certain things like that just really like I didn't realize how much they affected me, but like you said, I still have the clearest vision of it, and when stuff would happen like that, my dad would be bummed for weeks really. It would just that because he would grow, back then, what you grow 10 pounds or something and selling them for 4 or 5 grand a pound. It would keep us going all year long. Oh, and that happened a few times. That's the thing up there, they're old school. He would just grow in the same spot, just do it again and again, and they wouldn't always hit him. There's one year I'm coming home on the school bus, and all of a sudden, traffic stopped. I see helicopter flying
Wow.
up, lifting our quad up in the air, way up there. They drop it from way up high, explode our four wheeler, and the next thing you
Dang.
know, I see him load my dad into the helicopter and take him out of there, and it was like stuff like that was just it was really common around here. And I mean, we all have kind of some PTSD. Like my sister, she bounced. She can't really deal with the shit, and for me it was just part of the game, and it was just what we did. We grew weed, we ran from cops, we were outlaws, and life was exciting. It was fun. We lost a lot of good friends doing that. You make a lot of money, you're partying, you're getting in car wrecks or suicides, and there were a few friends that got killed over weed. Far more died from partying and drunk driving and stuff like that. Weed wasn't really the killer. It was just
Yeah.
more we had a lifestyle that was different than most. I'll give you one. We were in town. Yeah, I bounced when I was like 15 off the hill, and just I'd ride my motorcycle to town and just live with whoever I wanted because we were so far up in the mountains. And one night we were cruising around town. We were little bike rats. We just ride our bikes around town, and we're like, well, let's go smoke some weed on top of the building in town. And there's a payphone. We cut a hole through the payphone. We all crawled up on this building. We're getting stoned. All of a sudden, there's just cops everywhere. Well, we were on top of the bank. Yeah. we didn't really think about that one, did we? Not the best place to get high, right? So yeah, we got the local sheriff loaded us up, brought us to the sheriff's station, threw us in the cell for a little while. It wasn't the first time, we knew him by name.
Yeah.
In a small town like that, they'd load you up, they'd throw you in there, you'd go in the cell, and you'd be like, ah, shit. Call your parents, they'd be pissed off, come pick you up.
Yeah.
But it was small town mentality. I mean, the cops were dicks, but we knew them all. It was kind
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
a different vibe than now. But it was really good. It was a blessing living here. It's been a roller coaster watching the shift. The 215 days where Green Rush's place was booming. The hills filled with people. There was a lot of money. Our town was just full of, people from all over the world, aka Trimbagants. But beyond that, there was people coming in, growing weed, making money, man. There was a lot of money, but a lot of people that didn't give a shit about our community. They were here just to make the money.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we kind of went through that era, and it was wild, man. And property values were, tenfold what they are today. I mean, what they even should be. They were just going through the roof. And then the legalization came through, buddy, and now my town is crickets, and
Yeah.
it beat the shit out of us here, and I mean, really, there's probably about 400 to 500 farms in all of Humboldt County still going.
Oh wow.
You know, we're down to nothing. Our town's quiet. People are struggling, trying to figure out how to survive. It's heavy, honestly. I would say a good percentage of my friends are really bummed out, really freaking out, trying to figure out. Multiple have had to move out of here because, you own a piece of property, you got to pay all the taxes and whatever, your insurance, blah, blah, blah. But all of a sudden, your property's not worth shit. Your
Hmm.
weed's not worth shit. And it was just it was a perfect crumble for everyone. And that's kind of what happened to this place. So we're all, this is what we do. People are like, we'll go figure it out. Well, we've been growing weed our whole life. This is what we do. People will be like,
Yeah.
I don't read it in books. I know the plant. I know that's what I work with. If you do something your whole life, you better be good at it. And
Yeah.
that's
Well,
what
you got
that's what we
that OG mentality for sure, man, especially from being up there. 100%.
I mean, that's what we do, and I mean, so this whole thing has been wild. There's a few of us that's brands have stuck, they've made it, I would say, by making it. I'm not saying money wise, I'm saying they've got out of this bubble.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of work. People don't understand. They're like, well, at least you made it. But you understand you have a brand and how many thousands of hours you put into calls and meetings and stupid ass social media that take your page down
Yes.
left and right and ruin you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work. But then you got to also, you have to enter in big events. You have to win big Emerald Cups, Olympics, different things. And, you need to have journalists that respect you and get your voice out there. And I was lucky enough to really have all of that. And, I would always say, I grow good weed, I make strains, I love what I do, but there's a lot of people in these hills that do it just as good, if not better than me. They've just stayed, outlaw mentality, or they still have farms. They don't want to put their face out there. They don't want to go out there. So,
Yeah, no, I hear
it's
you.
like there's a lot. And I don't say I'm the best. I never will. And I don't say I know everything. I never will. I'm always learning. And, I see these high tech facilities, and I blow my mind. I mean,
Mhm.
even I have a mixed light farm with my homie, Rising Source. And it's like, yeah, we got lights and dehues and heaters, and that's about as high tech as we get. You know what I mean? It's not, we just never really been, there. We've grown indoors, we've grown outdoors, we've done it all around here, but the tech that's going on in the industry right now, it blows my mind. I
Yeah.
go down to One Log Cookies, I see my boy Jonah on there feeding his plants through a computer, watching when they eat and when they need to sleep and how much they're taking up, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, it's been a wild journey, and we're here now. We're still relevant. We're still going. We're pushing. Personally, I'm getting tired. Probably, I'm tired of just growing a lot of weed and getting cheap ass prices. And
I hear
it's
you.
just such a disrespectful thing when, I don't grow tons of weed. I've always said quality over quantity. I've always been slow and steady here, and when you grow up here, you could do acres, you could do clone rooms, you could do indoors, you could do outdoors. Everyone had their shot. Some people
Hmm.
wanted, 500 lighters. Some people wanted 50. I would just roll with a bunch of eights. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I would just slow and steady, and I'd always do all right. I would save money, and so it's like I've always just took that mentality of just the higher quality. You don't need a shit ton of it. You just need to be, real. You need to just do the best you can, and not just do as much as you can. And we're still here, man. We're still standing.
I hear
You
you. I
know,
hear you on that, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mean to cut you off, but
it's
with
good.
with that philosophy that you have, bro, that sticks with me a lot. It resonates with me a lot because you did win in 2023's Olympics with your Lance strain. That's an in-house strain, correct?
Oh yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. See, so
yeah.
with what you said, there's not a lot of farms that are out there, that are still doing it, and the importance of social media, which we know is difficult for cannabis, bro. They're taking us down left and right, unless you're on Twitter. Yeah, it's a headache. You seem to have gone from like that OG mentality of and way of doing business, and you merged it with social media. You've been putting yourself out there. You're putting your face out there. You're letting people know who's responsible for a lot of this. For a lot of the work you and your team are doing. It got you guys a 2023 victory as Olympics. If I'm not mistaken, I think you guys are the first ever greenhouse to win an award. You know what I'm saying, in that competition. Like
It
don't.
was third. Don't want to sound a little snobby. I like first, but I'll take it. I'll take it against the group of that group right there. Those names, man. I mean, beyond having way more, the bigger facilities, bigger outreach, big teams. We're rolling pretty solo around here. It's an honor playing in the same game with those big boys. That's for sure,
Yeah,
man.
man, there was some big names in those brackets, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
Whether to me winning as Olympics, whether it's first, second, or third, when you look at that list of competitors, bro, like you got some heavy hitters there. You got some people that take what they do pretty serious, like yourself, and they're putting in money into promotion, social media, and everything else. And like you said, a lot of those names are people that are investing into a lot of this high tech stuff. So if you ask me, bro, like you guys taking third place with the Lance, bro, that's what I'm saying. That's a big win right
appreciate
there, bro. Especially with it being an
appreciate.
in-house brand. It's not something that you guys were given and you guys are, like you guys are like pumping out. Like it's something that was
It's
created from you guys and it was able to take home a trophy.
I would say one of the proudest things, right now that I have are my whole farm. Both my farms are all my genetics. And that's something that throughout the years of growing here, me and my dad would always create strains. He's always done it forever. And, I love doing it, but it didn't matter then, right? Because there's a huge period of time where it was like, we want OG, we want this strain, we want the Granddaddy or Urkel or whatever they wanted. That's what they wanted. And so
Yeah,
you just
correct.
grew it. And so then when we jumped into this legalization, it was like you had to grow what everybody wanted. Ice cream cake, fine. You know what I mean? It was like it didn't matter because we were just getting them everyone gets the same strains from the same nurseries, and you grow it and you sell it wholesale. And to me, that's
Yeah,
just boring as fuck, dude. To me, it's no love. And I hated it. I hated it, but that's what you would do. And so now being able to breed my own strains and have them out there, yeah, people love them and they're winning
yeah,
awards is even better. But just having it, my whole farm, my strains is it's like, and it's not always good. People think, oh my God, you're just crushing it, dude. I go through, there's greenhouses. I'm playing with weather here. This isn't
yep.
no fucking turn your lights up, turn your lights down shit. This is like shit. It's fucking gonna rain tomorrow. It's going to be 49 degrees instead of 62 where it should be at night. And some of these strains don't like it. I'm at
Right, right.
2100 elevation. And so it's cost me a lot of money. I'll have
Hmm.
greenhouses that they'll look kill, but it'll be small. And just learning what strain could adapt to my climate is just a whole ordeal. But yeah, it's just being able to create my own strains and find that next winner. When I'm walking through the farm and I'm looking at these strains that I've never grown before outside. I've never grown. I grew them once indoor. I picked that strain. Now I'm growing them outside and seeing what they do. I mean, that's to me what keeps me going. And
That's
like I
dope.
said, and I've said I'm burned out. When I say I'm burned out, it's burned out of just growing a bunch of weed. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean? A
hear
bunch
you.
of weed and selling that weed for fucking whatever. But my
The
art is
creation
creating.
process.
I love it, man. And I feel like I've gotten this gift to now where people trust me and they want my genetics, they want my seeds, they want my strains. And that's given me freedom to be able to, create shit. Like this
Yeah.
morning, I was out there with, I got which I've never even done feminized till this year. That's how behind I am in time. We're up here in the mountains. We are fucking Stone Age shit up here. Let me tell you what. And my homie Jonah at One Log, he made me a bunch of feminized pollen, a Lance, blueberry caviar, blackberry caviar. So I'm putting it on everything. I'm actually after this, I'm gonna bounce up to my pops, go put it on his, the
Let's
plants. I give
go.
him the strains, and I go up to his spot because I don't want to blow out the neighborhood or whatever. But yeah, I mean, to me, that's it. That's the gift throughout this whole thing. So yeah, Lance, when I
Well,
found that thing. And I looked at it and it had it was checking boxes left and right, which so many of these strains nowadays, they check those first boxes, the look, the weight, the
right.
appearance, the color, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even give a shit about the THC. We all know it's going to be up in the 20s, maybe 30s. Cool. But it's when you cure it perfectly, you take a big hit, you inhale, you exhale, and you taste the flavor. It ain't cardboard. It don't taste like,
Hmm.
doesn't burn your throat, and it just tastes pure. Dude, it's like I can't explain how hard it is, as you know, as a breeder. It is
Yeah.
hard to find a strain that you could. It's just like a good OG where you blow out and it just tastes like that. It almost sticks on your tongue, a little dirt taste. But it's like gas. It's so for me, it's all at the end. It takes everything, and it's when you get that smoke and you find it, it's just
That's what
boom.
makes it worth it.
Oh, it's it.
That's what
It's
makes it
it.
worth it.
And then you
Yeah.
get a little love like from Zalympix. We got Emerald Cup one with it.
First smoke
You
of the
know.
day named it the strain of the year for 2025.
hmm
They named
He
it that.
he's a homie, dude. I mean, that guy's another guy that just gives so much love, man. And and it was cool to see Elliot on there because I've been like, Elliot, let's fucking roll. Let's get Ridgeline in there. Let's get Ridgeline in there. Cricket. All of a sudden, bam, and it's like, and that's what you need. You need love, and I give love. I'm not, I'm older now, and I'm not. I could feel if there's a lot of younger cats in this game, and they get these wins and they get this and that, and it's in their head. It's just, we need, big Ridgeline gold chains. It's like, no, dude, I don't give a shit. I just want to live a good life. I want to, my kids go to school. I want to send, got one in college, the other one's a senior, and then I just want to enjoy, where I live and help this community, bro. I mean, honestly, like if anything could ever come of this brand and it could go to that next level, to me, it's like this place raised me. All of this
Hmm.
community raised me. It wasn't just my parents. I mean, I was gone, like I said, at 15, bouncing from house to house to house, and this community raised me, and I feel like they put their arms around my kids, and now my kids they're amazing because they got so much love. So I owe this community everything, man. And
Yeah,
if I
true.
could do anything, and I could have, people might be like, well, you're a sellout, you're working the cookies. Dude, it's about survival. It's about
Yeah.
working with people that have more marketing capability than I don't have marketing capability, bro. I have Instagram. I get up to 50,000, boom, they take my account. Get up to
Hmm.
50,000, boom, they took my apparel, they take everything. I don't have that marketing capability. So, we got Burn.
Because
He's my
you're actually doing it, bro. You're actually doing the cannabis aspect of the whole thing. You're actually up the hill. You're in the farm. You're actually working on the breeding projects. You're actually cultivating. You can't be expected
What
to
do I
go
say?
out
It's
there.
not just it's not just a job, it's my way of life. I always say that. That's the
Yeah.
fucking truth.
No, absolutely, man. And I'll tell you this, bro, in comparison to like this new generation that are definitely doing this for a money grab, yeah, they're trying to get these indoor packs, add marketing, add animation videos, add die cut bags or regular Mylars, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to just utilize the hype for something, whereas to you, like you're actually in there creating, bro. Like you're actually like that win at the
This
Olympic, that was definitely well earned because you guys were there doing these breeding projects. And I know you mentioned cookies, bro. Like that's another one. Like that Blue Caviar is making it, bro, on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm seeing it like crazy, bro. If you don't mind, elaborate, like giving us a little bit more detail on that whole project. Like let us know what is the Blue Caviar and kind of let us know how that product is moving along for you.
Yeah, well, we have the blueberry and the blackberry caviar, and really I basically took a beautiful Lance male and I put it on probably, 20 different other strains I had. And we pheno hunted a huge pheno hunt I think it was not last year, year before. And I picked out, the grape gas times Lance. They were just some crazy flavors. And I had one that I loved. I mean, I thought this is the one. I brought it to Burn. He thought it was the one. I mean, instantly it was just there it was. And that was the blackberry. And meanwhile, I got another 15 jars we're going through. And we actually didn't even pick the blueberry till Burner picked it with Woody Harrelson to do a
Oh,
project with Woody. Yeah, and I was actually supposed to be a project with Woody. I'm not going to go deep into that because that went sideways. But anyway, so what was cool is that was one other jar that I kind of left him, and so I actually gave Burn when I got this, last win, the Golden Bear. I mean this last win of that Golden Bear was to me was one of I wasn't expecting it. I was going against Glass House, who had who knows how many strains in there, and
yeah.
we won the overall at the state fair, California State Fair Gold Bear with it, and I called Burn and I was like, dude, thanks, because I mean, that was one that he picked out of those jars that could have slid by, and it didn't have, it's not like the blackberry super purple. Like I said, checking boxes. But
Hmm.
that most important, man, is that flavor and that smell and that taste, and that thing just, God, it is just ridiculous. And it's not the easiest to grow it and make it perfect, so if one of these companies gets it, one of these people growing for cookies and they don't grow it correctly, it might not taste right. And I've had multiple people like have to redo it a few times, and when it's grown right, you do one little, like I put it on grinder, I'll do a twist and I always smell. That's my number
Yeah,
one, is one twist and you smell that, and it's different. And I think right now different is big, right? It's not,
100%.
people be like, it's just like another runts, and it's not like another runts.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is no blueberry. People are like, is that with, blueberry muffin or blueberry this or blueberry that? You know what I mean? No. The name
Yeah,
was just thrown in blueberry because it smells like blueberry. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah, that strain right there is, it's wicked, dude. It's one that another I love, and then I got Burn throwing his marketing love onto it for me.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
like I said, so it's like there's so many hidden strains out there, but it helps to have somebody out there that's willing to put it on the
Yeah.
map. And I mean, Burns there for me, man. He's given me a lot of love, and I respect the hell out of the guy.
Yeah, I'll say this, bro. You brought up earlier about the whole cookies project. Some people saying, "Oh, you're selling out." I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I love your point of survival. I love that point 100%, especially with what the background info you just gave us about how a lot of farms, you know what I'm saying, just kind of crumbled with everything that's happened since legalization. And aside from the whole survival point, bro, like, yeah, cookies, maybe there was a point where their name wasn't really surrounded too much about the cannabis it was producing. It was maybe more so now an apparel thing. It had a hype because of Burner, maybe for some time beings, bro, due to other partnerships that they had. Maybe it didn't have the best representation for what it first started off
Of
for,
course,
right?
as you
But
know, when you get up there, people are gonna knock you down.
100%. And we got to remember, bro, despite politics, despite street stories and everything, bro, cookies really, really paved the way for a lot of the shit that people are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they really did. They really started off a lot as far as with this marketing game and, with being able to bring like a notable attention through promotion and propaganda and marketing and everything. So I give them respects for that. But that name holds so much weight that teaming up with somebody like you that's actually curating, creating a bunch of new shit that is different, like we said, because right now in this bro, in this day and age, different is good. There's too many things that you might think it's fire, but it could be reminiscent to something that's already been out for the last 6, 7, 8 years. So I feel like that Cookie's name teaming up with you and your squad, bro, like I think that's something that gives Cookies more power. So the fact
Oh
that
yeah.
Burner's able to see that and he's throwing his love and his marketing strategy all over that, bro. I think that's a beautiful partnership right there, bro.
I mean, they all have given me, that whole team has given me lots of love and support. And I hear it all. And I know everything ain't perfect, but at the end of the day, it's just like, they are, like I said right there, is that like when you're really succeeding, no matter how good, how perfect you are, somebody's gonna hate. I get hate on all the time. What did I do?
Yeah,
I
for
get hate on
sure.
all the time. But I'll tell you, and then people say, well, they're using you. Well, yeah, and I'm using them. We're using
Correct.
each other to go.
Correct.
And I mean, it takes, and it's like with me and Johnny Huckleberry, right? Huckleberry Hills, Whitethorn Rose.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure heard him. Well, we're best buddies. We was on my boat yesterday. We're killing tuna together, and
That's
me and
fire.
him, we're in a small area. There's only he's one of the few brands here that's making a move, and we do everything together, right? Why? It's better, we're better to get stronger together. You hear that one? And it's like you work with people that have the same goals, and you just keep building each other up. He gets an opportunity, he throws with me. I get an opportunity, I throw it with him. And it's just, I feel like if you want to just be on this journey by yourself, good luck. I feel like we
Yeah,
all need
man.
each other. We all, the ones that are still going, we need each other, because I don't give a shit how big. There's some big boys out there that will just take us all out real quick, dudes.
Absolutely.
So it's like, so at the end of the day, it's like sell out. I've heard that word too. It's like, dude, if you have to get uncomfortable to succeed in this market, you could not sit back and just, think you're the hot shit and you're just going to scroll on through. You need to work with other people. You need to work with people that have more reach. And,
Hmm.
I don't have the energy. Like, I don't even package that much weed anymore here in California. It just doesn't
Okay.
make money. And you know what I mean? It's like, for how many people get my herb for what it's going to do for my brand, it just doesn't. It's just hard. Like pre rolls,
Yeah,
just throw them
absolutely.
out. Like I go to Reggae on the River, I throw them out. That's the best thing you do with a pre roll is give them to people for free, because it's just like too many losses. And I've taken, just to get to here. I keep saying, as you know, because you're in this game, how many events? Like I went to so many events for, you know 7 years straight and just throwing out free this and that and paying for events and driving events and all of it costs. And now people ask me, you ready to go to Hall Flowers? You ready to go here? You ready to go there? I don't really want to set up a booth. I'd rather just go out and meet the people, talk to the people,
Absolutely.
smoke weed with the
Absolutely.
people. Because I feel like all those booths I'd go to back in the day, every one of those things, they would spend more money on one booth than most of us fucking people around here could make in a year growing these depths, right? And they're gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom, that money is gone. And it's like for me, it's
Yeah,
like people want real, is what I'm learning in this game. People don't want this bullshit
absolutely.
no more. They want real people with real stories growing real weed. And I feel like, it's there's not many of us left that are doing that have our face out there. There's plenty that are doing it, but aren't putting their face out there, and
Correct. Yeah.
it's not always fun to do it.
Yeah.
But
No. But you're doing
yeah,
it
man.
too, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like hearing your story right now, briefly from what I'm saying, your background, where you come from, and to where you're at now, bro. Like you seems like you've adapted well to it, and it's brought you here now. All that game, OG philosophy, mentality, bro. You feel me? It got you to where you're at. Now your creations are starting to get, rewarded. The Olympics, saying the Golden Bear this year, and then what you said it was with the blueberry, right, or the
Yep.
blackberry, the blueberry.
Blueberry.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
feel me? So I mean, I'm telling you, bro. Like,
Blackberry won a few awards, but not the Golden Bear, man. I got it sitting
yeah,
here. I can show you a little bit. It is beautiful. I am
no,
proud of that one.
no, that's dope,
Definitely.
bro. And then, bro, with the cookies project and just winning the Golden Bear, like, I just want to give you the floor right now. Like, what's some new stuff that you're working on? Whether it's new strains, I know you said you hit the Lance to like 20 other flavors. Is there anything new that's looking promising? Is there anything else that people should know about Ridgeline? Like, what do you guys got cooking up?
I mean, right now I'm doing so I've project with Jonah down there at One Log. He's the one he's doing all kinds of stuff for cookies, and Burns always like put it on this, put it on that, like pollen, right? He wants him to keep putting on everything. But right now we have like, we got on the palm shake, we got on the cinnamon milk, the blue raz. I mean, we put it on all kinds of stuff, but it's it's fun now because it's like I'm working with powers, like some of our
Yeah,
strains are going together and so he's going off over there. He's putting Lance and Blueberry on, all of these strains, most of, the known ones, but I don't know if you had the Blue Raz yet. It's just, it's the flavor is phenomenal. But for me personally, I'm putting on a lot of strains I already have, but now using, feminize, I'm really curious to be, like I said, it's the first year I'm doing that. And, like I love that, I have that double OG Chem times Lance, they call the Ridgeline Rebel from,
hmm
Rebel Grown.
yeah, correct, correct, yeah,
He's won many, many awards with it, and it's fire gas. I mean, it's just I love gas, man. And
yeah. I
there's
feel you.
so many candy strains, and so I'm excited. I'm gonna
Overwhelmingly,
throw some. Oh man, so many. So I'm putting blueberry on that one, Lance on that one. I do have some citrus strains. I know people pretend like they don't like it, then you roll it up, they're like, "What's this?"
yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. Buyers be like, "No, I don't want no citrus." But anyway, they do have a few of
yeah,
these ones that we actually won some awards with way back in the day. What else? I'm doing a bunch of the feminized blueberry into blueberry because everybody wants, the seed game is crazy. I mean, for
yeah.
me, that's a whole nother market now that is unlimited, and it's really unlimited out of this country. So I'm really just trying to figure that out. So I'm gonna have a whole pile of feminized. We have, a bunch more with the white thorn rose times with the blueberry caviar. I mean, dude,
Damn.
that thing is winning shit, I got the platinum lance with it's the Ridgeline Runts times Lance. We're washing that up there at Arcata X, and it's washing at 6.5.
Damn, bro.
Hey,
That's a nice.
this
That's
is
a
it's
that's a that's a nice. That's a nice percentage right there.
I know, and see, look at this. It's like I've only been washing now for 3 years. Like I never even messed with that, man. We were doing, silk screen shit. We weren't sitting there doing live raws, and I've been learning all this still. I'm telling you, it's like old school mentality here. But yeah, doing a lot with Johnny. Got that Ridgeline Rose, and doing a bunch of those crosses. He's crushing the rosin market, and so I want to get some more strains in with those guys. What else? What else? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I put it on so many different strains that this winter, that's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be popping
Yeah, bro.
beans, and a lot of people run their rooms trying to make money. I'm gonna run my room losing money. But I'm looking
Yeah.
for the winner, dude. I don't give it doesn't matter to me to pull off a run and sell it for this much and get your ass handed to you by the buyers when you could sit there and look for that next winner because that
Yeah.
to me is that's it.
Well, bro, you're
That's
on a
it.
run right now, bro. With the Lance, what I'm saying? The blueberry caviar. Not only that, man, you'll probably be able to find a potential winner with these seeds you're selling with somebody else across the world. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe popping it, finding some dope shit, trying to connect with you. Bro, that's amazing, bro. So
It's
now,
really
bro.
exciting when you're selling those seeds and people are hitting you back and showing you pictures of what they're creating. At first,
Yeah,
I didn't really want to give them out, honestly. I still
I
held
feel
on.
you.
Like I haven't given out the Grape Gas times Lance, which I'm gonna start moving through those. I have bins and bins of seeds. We still got to pay the bills. As much
Yeah,
as I
for
want to be a
sure.
hoarder. And I don't want them to go bad, but it's like, and all those the Ridgeline rows, the Lance times Whitethorn rows. I mean, I have so many amazing seeds, but being able to give them out, people send you pictures of what they have found because they're regulars, so
Yeah,
they might have 60, 70% males, and
yeah,
that is what it
exactly.
is. And I have people like, does this bud look good? And it's a bunch of balls hanging there. You're like, oh yeah. I mean, there's a lot of novice, or you get, a lot of people can't pop them right. I mean, I'm to the point now, just put them in the dirt, put some water on them, they're going to grow, but not all seeds grow. Not all seeds pop. So it's not
Yeah,
all
correct.
easy, but it is exciting seeing other people. I got homie from homegrown TV Dakota. He's popping my beans in Colombia, and they're doing runs in Colombia with that shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
bro.
and so just seeing it get out from our little bubble and go out throughout the world it's an honor, man.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. It's one of the most rewarding feelings. Like our in-house breeder for Doja, we have Duke of Doja, our boy Rusty, bro. Seeing people in Germany, seeing people in Spain, seeing people just everywhere popping those seeds, sending videos to me, to Ryan, to my other partners like Drew and Ty, seeing them like show us like, yo, bro, I think this might be a keeper, and then linking up with them for like Mary Jane, and they're bringing us samples of shit, like. Bro, honestly, even though like myself, bro, like I'm not the in-house breeder for our brand, but seeing how rewarding that is, just that somebody wants to push our gear, somebody wants to be able to
Yeah.
help us
I
select
remember
something
trying to
new.
get your gear, dude, and it was hard. I was writing those people on there, writing Wizard Tree. Oh, can I get that cut? Can I get that cut? No. So the value, that's when the value goes up. It's that,
Yeah,
that's that they want it. It's that demand, you want what you can't get, just like everything, or
absolutely.
not everything in life, but that's the deal. And I wanted a few of your cuts. Eventually, by the time you get them, it's like, well, now there's on to the new. Everybody wants new,
Yeah, bro. That's the thing with even with this, bro. That's why the seed game I feel like is much better than the clone game. The clone game is cool, but by the time you get them, you know what I'm saying, you mom it out, root them, you do your thing with them. Like that takes you some months. By the time you get your first harvest, you're like, damn, all right, the wave is kind of starting to pass by. That's why with the seeds, in my opinion, it's a little bit better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, you're right. We do lose a lot of money doing these pheno hunts because a lot of these things they're not winners, bro. You feel me? Like we can go
yeah,
through like
oh
two,
yeah.
3 hunts, and you may find one, and that one may result into not being a keeper.
My hardest thing is throwing out a strain though, because I know it's not the one, but it's still fire. And so now
Hmm.
I find myself with just endless strains, tag after tag after tag. And, I got my homie be like, "Can we throw these out?" I'm like, no, or I'll cut it. I'll keep it on clones and then I'll replant it again. It'll get big. I'll cut it, kill it, keep it. And it's just, I have so many strains, and I don't have tons of area. So yeah, it's hard to kill a strain.
Yeah, I hear you,
Yeah,
bro.
much respect for what you guys are doing too, man. Like I said, I've been watching it too, and it's just incredible to see the few people that have really just kept pushing through. And it's and especially in this California market, man. This California market is hard, dude. It's cutthroat out there, man.
100%, bro. Super. Yeah. No, that's why
Much
I give you
respect.
yeah, likewise, bro. I give you your flowers too, bro, because you're out here really doing it, bro. Like you're doing it. Like I said, Zalympix, you've won several awards already since Zalympix as well. You just got the
Yeah.
golden bear for the Blueberry Caviar, bro, and then I'm sure that's not gonna be your only project with Burn. I'm sure he sees your value with you and your team and everything you got going. He's having you hit that shit to a bunch of other strains of his and powers, bro. So I give you your respect, bro. Like
Thank you.
we're kind of reaching our time, bro. But I just want to say, like, thank you for joining us today, bro. Good luck to you in that November event, that Winners Flights Olympics event, bro. Like I'm with everything that we talked about, I'm super excited to see what you're gonna have entered at that event, bro. I feel like it
Oh, I'm
might be
fired
that
up.
blueberry caviar, bro. It sounds like it.
It might be, unless one of these crosses is better. But man, I wish I now could hand you a nug of that fire because it's special. It really
Yeah, no,
is. And thank you for your time. And thanks to
of course.
Olympic for helping. Once again, it's another amazing platform for especially somebody like me. And, like I said, without these platforms, I'm nothing. And so big respect to Olympics for even letting us, hippies from the hill up here still growing this greenhouse weed, they're letting us in up there, play with the big boys. So I appreciate them
Yeah.
all, man.
Nah, bro. Before I let you go, I'm gonna say you're definitely something. I will say this: Zalympix and other platforms like that, all they're doing is they're putting the magnifying glass on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You guys you're crushing it, you're killing it. You know what I'm saying? You got other brands that are partnering with you that see your value, man. Like just keep crushing it, Jason. You feel me? Keep doing your thing, bro. And
Right on, man.
I look forward to seeing more from you, bro. Thank you for your time
Yeah,
today.